just like a Scooby-Doo episode of them just like pulling the masks off of a line of people, but it's just the same
all
person
Chelsea.
over and over. It's all Chelsea.
We think it's Chelsea. We don't even know.
We're assuming that.
Let's take a sip of tea of the town.
All right, Linda, are you ready for one horse of a tale?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm calling this one Hooves, Lies, and Alibis.
Ooh, okay.
Today, I am diving into the world of model horses.
Did you know that I'm like a model? Well, I'm not currently, to be clear. But when I was a kid, I was obsessed with horses.
Really?
I was obsessed. My entire room was covered in horse posters. I had tons of model horses. Every year for my birthday, I would just buy model horses. Like, that was my thing.
I had no idea, which is crazy because like we've known each other forever.
Forever. I was kind of a little bit embarrassed about it, but it was definitely my thing. Like, I was hardcore into horses.
Really?
I was a horse girl with no access to horses. So
Love this. Okay, but did you hold on to those horses?
I have a few. Well, my mom has a few still at her house. And so, like, not many, but a few.
Okay, you might want to go and check out those horses because in my deep dive, I learned that some of these are worth some real money.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, okay, I learned that like Breyer is one of the biggest names in the game.
Yeah.
They've made thousands of horses.
Very
with different,
familiar.
like
Yeah.
breeds, sizes, poses. They've been at it for 75 years.
Mhm.
And so the more common ones are maybe worth around $20.
Yeah.
I found there was an auction of an extremely rare, one-of-a-kind vintage model, and it went for $65,000.
Oh my. I will be checking those
Check
horses.
those horses.
Oh my god.
That might be your retirement plan.
Oh, wow. Can I quit my job now?
$65,000, right? Right? I mean,
Oh.
that is more than a car.
That's wild.
Yeah. So obviously, the people in the community
Yeah.
are very serious about it.
Of course.
And I found that there's like a really popular like board on Facebook
Yeah.
where essentially people can post their transactions and they can review other collectors so that they can be, make sure that they're buying from people that are reputable, that it's
see.
not scamming
I
because
see.
whenever
Yeah.
there's this amount of money involved, like scams naturally follow.
Always.
Right. So they can give warnings of like if this person is good, if this is bad, if the quality of the model was
Yeah.
good, things like that.
Got it.
So there was one post in particular that really popped off. And the way that I want to structure this, because it was kind of difficult to follow at first,
Yeah.
I'm going to read through this story. And I'm going to show you the person who they're talking about. So essentially, this is from a post that someone made on this board where they had sold their horse to this buyer.
Okay.
And it didn't go well.
Oh no.
And so they go through their deep dive of like what happened. We're going to call this person that they're the buyer, Sarah Owens. So this was posted in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
She says, warning against particular hobbyist Sarah Owens. She put a deposit on an expensive model and was meant to pay me the remaining several $100s by November 24th. I went to her wall and found a post from her mom, let's call her Cherry, stating that Sarah was hit by a drunk driver and is in the ICU. On December 1st, there is an update stating that Sarah lost her battle and had passed away. Cherry asks for thoughts and prayers and gives a small eulogy for Sarah.
This is all happening on Facebook.
This is all happening on Facebook. I searched for Cherry Owens in the area that had a connection to Sarah so that I could give my condolences, but was never able to find one. I also noticed that the Facebook page for Sarah had an RIP posted at the top, but it had not been memorialized officially.
Right, because now there's like the official, yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On December 18th,
These pictures are doing me in. I'm dead.
this is all my work, by the way.
I love it.
It's fantastic. Very Bible. On December 18th, I coincidentally noticed a Sarah Williams Owens congratulating another hobbyist, let's call this one Chelsea, on winning a model horse auction. Looking at this Sarah Owens profile, it appears she's listed as Chelsea's mother.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I decided to look at Sarah and I's old conversation, and it appears I have been blocked.
What?
And I am not able to see Sarah's profile anymore. A friend of mine looks for me instead, and Sarah has changed her name to Sarah Wayne Williams.
What is going on?
I know, it's hard to follow.
So, like, she's a mom and a daughter and a what is this?
Yes.
This is okay.
There's a lot of names, and this is how I am best differentiating these
I love the
different
wigs.
people.
I love the wigs.
Thank you. Thank you. That strikes me as very close to Sarah Williams Owens. I do more digging and notice that Sarah Williams Owens had bid on behalf of Chelsea on several other auctions. So she's making bids for this other Chelsea person. Since Sarah had put a deposit on the model she bought from me, I decided to check PayPal, and I found an email and a home address. Her name shows on PayPal as Sarah Williams.
Okay.
Through some fellow hobbyists, I learned that this is the same address attached to the other hobbyist, Chelsea.
Okay.
Yes. So now, like, there's been like several name changes at this point.
It's a shell game of Sarah's.
It's a lot of
and
Sarahs,
Chelsea's
Chelsea,
and Cherry's
and
and Owens and Williams and Wayne's. Wow.
But I am loving the way that she is digging in and she's like finding information.
She's doing her homework.
Absolutely,
She's
is.
finding the receipt.
Mhm.
She's doing what we all do and turning into an FBI agent, which I love.
Same. So I approached Chelsea about the situation. She claims that Sarah has shipped some things for her in the past and wonders if she might be distantly related to Sarah somehow.
Okay.
Right?
Right?
Even though Sarah is listed as her mother, and now she's like, oh, maybe we're somehow related. That's crazy. That's odd. Sarah has apparently also blocked Chelsea.
Okay.
I see this whole thing as very suspicious, and I never did receive the money. I am therefore leaving warnings on this transaction board to be wary doing business with this person, as it's very likely that she faked her death to avoid paying off the money she owed on
Oh
models.
my gosh. So did she really receive the horse though?
Apparently,
so she stole the
yes.
horse. So like she's basically just making up all these aliases and probably playing this game over and over again. And
Yes.
disappearing and faking a death or making up excuses and then like reappearing as a Chelsea or a Superman or like whatever in different clothing items
Yes.
and glasses.
We
And-
have seen this before. This
You
is
know-
not the first story that we've covered where someone has faked their death and then created fake people to corroborate the faked death.
It's more common than you would think.
Crazy enough.
Mhm.
So that's what appears to be happening. What's interesting is so she makes this post and
Yeah.
the thread pops off. And I love this because other commenters decide that they're also going to play FBI. They're also going to connect some strings.
Oh no.
This is what they point out. So they point out that the profile for Sarah Wayne Williams on Facebook,
Yeah.
you know how on your profile after the slash, it'll
Yeah.
have like your name,
Oh,
dot,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
or you can change it to be something custom. So
Yeah.
the profile for Sarah Wayne Williams in the URL includes the name Chelsea.Owens after the slash.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So already there's that. Some people also point out that Chelsea previously went by Chelsea Williams.
Okay.
So again, we're seeing a lot of cross names. We're
Wow.
seeing a lot of
yeah, we're
things
just
like,
like reorganizing the names. We're playing like we're playing Mad Libs with like a set of 5 names and
Yes.
showing up as new people every time. Love
exactly,
that. Love
exactly.
that. For Chelsea, Sarah, Owens, Williams, Cherry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another commenter mentions that Chelsea is now posting on her profile trying to act like she had her identity stolen.
Oh my gosh. They always do
They
that.
always do that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if the fake death doesn't work and people start sniffing you out, oh, that's crazy. Like
We're just
somebody
gonna
stole my
blame somebody
identity.
else. We're gonna blame some hackers.
Someone hacked into my account. Someone did this. Yes. And so now she's trying to explain the whole thing with, oh, someone stole my
Someone stole my identity and they're doing bad stuff on my behalf. Totally wasn't me.
Never.
be.
Couldn't be.
Right.
During the entire time that the transaction review is blowing up, and mind you, Chelsea, like people are tagging Chelsea, like come and answer for your crimes.
messy.
Yes, and I love
That's
it.
messy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love when that
That energy
happens.
is like perfect for these types of situations because it's like lay in the bed that you've made.
Exactly. They're like,
Just-
"No, you come here.
We found you out.
We found you out."
Sit down. We need to talk.
So she's being tagged in this thread that is absolutely popping off.
Yeah.
Chelsea is basically ignoring it. She's not responding to it, but she is still listing model horses for sale.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
We're bold.
So is her game? She's just scamming other people out of horses and then like reselling the horses for money.
It would appear so.
Oh my, Chelsea, Sarah, Owens, Williams, Wayne, Cherry. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
The audacity of this person. So yeah, she's just like, I'm just gonna keep posting. I'm gonna ignore these, but eventually, I mean, you can only run for so long, and she finally like deletes her account because it's the heat is just
Or
too
she just
much.
blocked everyone.
Or that. But yeah, she for a brief period she disappears because she cannot handle the heat in that kitchen.
Well, you know.
Well, then Chelsea
Jesus Christ, Chelsea.
creates a new account under the same name, and she finally goes back to the thread and comments, and she admits to all of it
She does.
and apologizes. Yes. She
Okay.
So
Okay, let's hear it,
something.
Chelsea.
She admits that she had faked all of the accounts. So all of
Yeah.
the accounts that we've seen as a
Does she,
surprise to no one.
Does she like account for her crimes by like these are all my accounts?
No, not quite. But she just does say like, yeah, you're
was
right.
me.
It was all me.
You caught me.
Everyone was me this whole time.
It is me.
Pretty
I'm
much.
so sorry.
It's just like a Scooby-Doo episode of them just like pulling the masks off of a line of people, but it's just the same
all
person
Chelsea.
over and over. It's all Chelsea.
We think it's Chelsea. We don't even know.
We're assuming that because at this point she's going under the name Chelsea and she's saying it's all her. So we're going to assume
and
that
it's, like,
Chelsea is her
really
real name, but who knows?
the town mayor or whatever underneath. We're not sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yes, she says that all of the accounts were her. And she had been putting down too much money on model horses. So that she was saying that like her intentions weren't bad, but she just like went a little ham, went a little crazy off the rails. And, you know, as one does, fakes her death to get out of it.
Of course. Yeah. Like that's the natural response that most people would have to making mistakes. Like
Just going to fake my death, make 6 Facebook profiles and move
Yeah.
along with my life.
it's so uncomfortable for me to take accountability. I'm just going to pretend I'm dead. You know,
exactly. you know.
logical.
Yeah, but here's the thing that like is craziest to me
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, her apology is met with, you know, like a little bit of a rub where basically people are kind of irritated, but
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, you're accepting it. We're glad that you at least fessed up now, even though like
Right.
this was really shitty of
It's
you."
real weird.
However, she's still buying and selling
No,
horses.
she's not. Chelsea, move on with their life. Girl, get it together.
It's like even though there's this huge, you know, black mark against her now in the community, she's still actively participating.
And people are still selling her horses.
And because the thread was so popular, the community is very well aware of this incident. Like it's not buried at this point. Like it, you know, was a huge scandal in the community. And she has even had more people come forward saying that she didn't pay them.
Is she paying her debts?
It appears that she's still up to it. But the thing is, because there's so many people with these rare horses that are so desperate to sell them because they're so expensive and there's not a
Yeah.
lot of buyers, and she appears to drop a lot of money, there are still people selling their horses to Chelsea.
My conspiracy theory is like Chelsea is like a 12-year-old, because I was once a 12-year-old, with her mom's credit card. And she's just like trying to get horses, you know,
Yeah.
to put on her wall to complete her set, and just see it. You know, it's like maybe Chelsea's really a kid, like just making mistakes and like trying to get horses. She's an adult. She needs to take accountability for what the hell she did. But having been a horse girl myself who was like obsessed with model horses, I'm just like, Maybe it's like the kid version of me running around with a stolen credit card. Like, I need some horses. You know?
Yeah, like I get it. I feel you. You know what? It's funny because that makes me think of when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I had an iPod Shuffle, so
Shout
that's how
out.
old I am.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I used it every day.
Yeah.
It got stolen, and I was so devastated that I went on eBay and I found another one and I bid on it and I won.
Ooh, good
And-
job.
Well, my parents didn't know. And then I went to them and I was like, hey guys, I won an auction. Can we buy this? And they were like, absolutely not. We can't afford that.
Mhm.
And so then I had to write to eBay and tell them I'm actually underage. I lied.
I'm actually a child. It's your fault.
I got banned from eBay.
Are you still banned to this day?
No, I have a different email address now.
Okay, yeah,
I hope
so-
eBay doesn't see this. But I found my way back. But for years, I was not allowed.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
So I have also a funny eBay story. So there's certain points in my childhood / teen years where I was banned from computers and the internet for various reasons. Probably I deserved it, but it was mostly anyway. I'm not even going to go into that personal to you. However, Mom, if you're watching, I'm really sorry, but I did do this. So I went to the public library because I couldn't have access to a computer. I went to the public library. I went on eBay and I purchased a laptop and I hid it in a binder because it was. And so when my parents were gone, I would take it out and I collected like old AOL free 50-hour dial-up CDs.
Oh,
And I would
my
use a new one every time. So I could just get free 50 hours. This is dial-up days, right? So I would take the laptop out, I would hook it up to the phone, I would put in my new like AOL dial-up CD, get my free 25 hours, and then hide the laptop before anyone came home and like disconnect the cord. Anyway, I was real crafty.
That is genius. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, going through that level of effort, you deserved internet access.
I did.
Or maybe actually you really shouldn't have because you were dangerous with the internet, clearly.
Probably didn't deserve it, but you know what? I got it. And guess what? Now I work at, well, I'm not going to say what I do. I'm not going to dox myself.
Fair.
However,
Valid.
the
The
skills translated later into life. So you know what? I did what I did.
You did what you did, and look at you now. Well, I just loved this so much. I loved learning about these model horses.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was just the poster, the way that she went on her deep dive, I resonated with because I'm like, girl, I can go FBI sometimes.
Hell yeah. Come with the receipts. Make the connections. Do the research.
Absolutely. So
Love it.
that is the tea.
This was good tea. This was a fun one. I appreciated this one.
I'm glad.
Cheers to Chelsea Sarah Cherry
Owens?
Owens.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's take a sip of tea.